Welcome to Bruins Overtime Live, presented by BuyAToyota.com with Billy Jaffe, Razor, and special guest Katie Crowley. I'm Sophia. In a game that we wish we had more to talk about, more positive things to talk about for the Boston Bruins, but unfortunately a 4-1 loss to the Calgary Flames. Guys, we've been talking about it being a bit sloppy, the Bruins not capitalizing on chances, and they had them, closing things out. But really, I mean, you could say it was because of the break, but as Pavel Zacha said, the Flames had a break as well. So what went wrong here for the Bruins?
I'll start with me?
Yeah, I'll start with you.
They weren't good. I mean, the one team was engaged, one team was ready, one team wasn't.
Yeah.
Flat out. They had they were outworked, out-efforted, out-hustled, out-thought, outsmarted, whatever, out-everything. They were in that game. And you're going to have them. We've had a couple this year, not many. And you can't use the break as the excuse, but the break didn't help these guys. But now they've got to rectify it, Razor and Katie. They can't wallow in it. They got to rectify it by Thursday night when Vancouver comes to town to show that was just one bad game, and it's going to happen in this league. But mentally, they were not sharp in this game at all.
No, they weren't, and there's the break is there. It's a reason now, I suppose. But if they won 4-1, they would just talk about it the other side.
Right.
So and that's what Calgary's doing. So certainly have to rectify it with the best team in the National Hockey League coming into the building on Thursday night. You cannot do that again. And because it won't be close, it'll be 4-1 at the end of the first if you put that kind of effort. Though this team's done it, they bounce back, they recognize it. I'm sure we're going to hear from the room, and we're going to hear a lot of negative talk.
Yeah, no doubt that they're going to pick themselves back up after this one. I think they all know, that they have more to give, and they'll bring it on Thursday.
Yeah, almost if they lost, let's say 4-3, and it was really close, maybe it wouldn't, hit as hard. But this is going to be like, okay, that was terrible. We got to, wake up and get going against one of the best teams in the league with Vancouver coming up. But first, as mentioned, Brick said it, Jack said it, they had their chances, plenty of them. Pavel Zacha here, power play goal. He cuts the lead by 1, and Razor said the next goal was a big one, but they couldn't finish. Here's the goal.
Well, you figure this is go time now. We've seen this Bruins story dozens of times over the last year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, and it felt like it was setting up perfect for the old TD Garden comeback, and Pavel Zacha letting her rip, goes off Noah Hanifin stick, goes top corner, but they needed a break, and you felt like they got it there with the penalties, with the 5-on-3, Katie.
Yeah, definitely, and I like how Zacha moves out of I think it was towards in the middle, and then slides out and kind of surprises people by stepping into that space. But you're right, he needed a little tip there from I think Hanifin's stick, and you thought it was really going to get the Bruins going, but unfortunately it wasn't.
Absolutely, with that being a 5-on-3 goal, Pavel Zacha's 11th of the season. The Bruins then, they have more time with the man advantage, but unfortunately, listen, there are a lot of sloppy penalties that you can take. I think too many men is probably, as a coach, one of the most frustrating ones you can see. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's one of those that you want back for sure. Just making sure that the players know who they're going for, and that they, the right people are going out. But that's a tough one for them, and it definitely changed the momentum.
That's just... That's right there, the epitome of how they weren't thinking tonight.
Yeah.
They weren't sharp. They weren't focused. They weren't Bruins ready on this one. I mean, that right there, the crowd's into it. The place is getting ready to go. Like, you got time, man. You got time on that power play. And then 2 guys jump out for 1. Like, come on. Come on.
The only way
Communicate.
that's worse is if that Jake DeBrusk pass connects in front of the net, and they score, and then they call it back because there's too many men. That's the only way that play is worse than what we saw in the highlight.
That's true, and that, so as you said, it kind of deflates the crowd, too many men, but not only that, 4-on-4 hockey, and Jonathan Huberdeau scores immediately after, further deflating, further kind of just emphasizing their mistake that they made here. He strips, I believe, Charlie McAvoy here.
Yeah, and this is where I talked earlier, the Bruins got their sticks lifted, their passes intercepted, they got out body checked. I mean, right here, Huberdeau. They was going to move in the inside on McAvoy earlier. It had been Kadri with Geeky and Katie. Those are the kind of battles, if you're on the team that's succeeding there as a coach, you're like, that's it. That's how you play. Meanwhile, the Bruins, they didn't engage it.
Absolutely. I mean, Calgary took advantage of this opportunity here, right? They know that, the Bruins are right there, right on their heels coming back, and they found a way to put a couple more in, and that really was a tough one for the Bruins. I think that was was the one that helped. That was like, we're not coming back from this.
Yeah.
That's the nail, that one.
Yeah.
The nail there. And as we move to our Subaru star of the game, it is Nazem Kadri, because he assisted on that goal, but give him 3 assists in the game tonight, a +2 rating, 5 shots on goal, and 16:34 time on ice versus the Bruins. That's a lot of points there for Nazem Kadri, and a 26 points, +4, and 58 hits.
He was engaged, and you know who else was engaged for them? Huberdeau.
Yeah.
I mean, really engaged. More engaged than I've probably seen him in a while. Maybe he's happy having Kuzmenko here. Regardless, I know it's not a Calgary
show. It's a new season, but right? Break. He's saying it's a new season.
Yeah.
But, we can talk a little bit about
a little.
Nothing else.
They were a lot more, again, he was more engaged than I've seen in a while. That was a great shot. I mean, just got it quickly there. But anyways, listen, you got to move on, but you got to admit it or own it. And I'm sure, Brick heard it from Jim Montgomery. We'll hear about it coming up, and we'll hear some other stuff.
And you got to prepare for teams that, even though we talked about Calgary being out of even 5 points back, I believe, heading into this one of the wild card position, but Brick and Jack and Brick were talking about how it looked like they were playing for something. You got to be prepared for teams really, really playing for those 2 points.
Well, some guys are playing to get traded because they know they're going to, and other guys are playing for jobs already.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the NHL. There's no easy ones.
Exactly.
It doesn't happen, and now, especially the next month, you're playing for your life one way or the other, whether it's playoffs, whether it's first in the division, whether it's to stay in the league.
All right, well, we talked a lot about the Bruins' sloppy play after the first and second period, so let's show you, I guess, some of those lowlights in the sloppy play by the Bruins, Katie.
Yeah, the turnovers.
We'll give you the lowlights.
Sorry.
Just pretend you're with your team.
I think the turnovers really killed them, especially around the blue lines, like I said, I think in the first. And, that was something that they couldn't turn it around, and they couldn't, pick themselves back up fast enough for this one. And like I said, Calgary really took advantage of the opportunities that they had and were able to finish the game off.
It just, Razor, Katie, it's slow with their puck movement, softer. They were at half a stride behind, they're trying to kick it up instead of tape to tape. All the little things that you say, you put all those together, and it leads to just a real quandary for your team.
Yeah, one person was zigging, the other one was zagging. It was they were just off all night.
Well, you guys have a morning brew coming up, so what are you going to talk about?
I don't know.
What about, oh no, you didn't have, I was going to say your vacations over the break.
No, we weren't.
No, some of us didn't go away.
Some of us on vacation.
I can come talk about Turks and Caicos if you want, and the food, if you like. We can do that.
You won't, because you keep saying you're gonna, and then you don't.
You're right. Yes. I am going to go home.
I'm going to go to bed, go to sleep.
Sit on the couch.
Sit on the couch, right. Cuddle on the couch.
Cuddle on the couch. After the break, it's Jim Montgomery going one-on-one with Andy Brickley, and it was a great time on Women in Sports Night here at the Garden. Yes, there was the loss, but there were a couple wins in another way. We're going to look back at a memorable night after the break.
Bruins Overtime Live on NESN is presented by buyatoyota.com. For offers not seen on TV, visit buyatoyota.com.